Hey there YouTube, welcome back. This is part 2 of the video where we're exploring the economics of fitness businesses online, especially ones that involve a YouTube channel. And so in the last video I went through 3 examples of YouTubers that have been successful in creating businesses that are larger than just the YouTube ad revenue. And in this video I'm going to explore what it would take to start and develop a set of income streams that will get somebody to $100,000 in annual revenue, which is kind of the baseline for someone if they were thinking about quitting their job and doing YouTube full-time. So I'm going to explore that. It's heavily assumption based, but it's fun to think about and to really figure out just how popular you would have to be one of these guys that can make a living online. So anyway, thanks, and moving on to the next section. Bye. So in any business, you look for things that are scalable, preferring businesses that are not capital intensive. So selling basic generic strength programs to a mass audience is a good example of a product in the fitness world that is scalable, and if you had a huge audience and everyone loved your programs, that would be a pretty good business model. But it's not really repeatable. Once you buy the program, it's sort of yours. It's also can be a very competitive industry, so it's very hard to do something that's unique, and it's really hard to come up with something, especially if you don't have a lot of training or exercise science in your background, or you're not like a famous person. It's hard to become credible, and then it's also, you know, it's hard to have confidence that you're selling something that people can't just go out and find on the internet themselves. Why should they buy my nutrition program if they can just go and figure out what calories are and what maintenance and surplus and all those terms mean on the internet? It just seems very obvious. And so having the confidence to really sell something that you can just search up on the internet is something I'm definitely struggling with. Ideally, you want to find a growing niche of a growing market with limited competition, an area where you can establish barriers to entry. So examples of different fitness business models with barriers to entry and scalability are things like a unique equipment item, like the slingshot bench thing that Mark Bell of Super Training came up with. Like, that's a pretty unique product, and it works, and it's pretty simple to manufacture, so that guy's got a pretty neat business. Maybe fat grips or something like that, but those seem pretty generic. But most everything is not unique in fitness. Squat racks, barbells, whey protein, creatine, apparel, it's all pretty generic, all pretty competitive, and anything new that can be copied gets copied very quickly. So unless you come up with something truly unique, you're going to have to do these traditional means that other people are doing in order to make money in the fitness world. And that means coaching, that means, you know, selling merchandise, that means, you know, trying to just create videos that people like, saying the same things that other people are saying. So it's pretty daunting and competitive to even consider trying to break into this field. But we'll explore it anyway and just put some numbers up in a minute. So enough general business talk. So how would this work? How would it work for me to make $100,000 in fitness? If I wanted to get to $100,000 of income from fitness, I would have to develop a few complementary businesses, then promote the hell out of them with some entertaining content on YouTube that strikes enough of a chord with the community that I would amass a few 100,000 dedicated subscribers. To make things simple, I've tried to look at the economics of 4 different businesses and then figure out how successful each one of those businesses would have to be in order to get them to roughly $25,000 in revenue, or 1/4 of $100,000. The numbers are pretty daunting, but let me run through them. First, if I started an online coaching business, let's say it was as a strength coach, but it could be as a nutrition coach also, in theory. I mean, I'm not qualified for either one at the moment, but let's say someone wanted to pay me to tell them about strength training and nutrition. Let's say I charged $150 per month for such a service. To get to $25,000 a year in revenue for that business, I would need 14 clients. 14 clients seems doable, and perhaps the most realistic of any of these hypothetical income streams. Second up would be selling Excel-based strength training programs, maybe accompanied by some kind of ebook that I would write. If I was able to develop such programs, and if I was able to sell them for $60 per program, I would need to sell 35 programs a month, or 420 a year, to reach $25,000. That seems like a lot, and it's probably much more far-fetched than the coaching piece, but at the same time it's just out there on the internet, so anyone can come and find it, and it's kind of just sitting there, right? So you're not having to do a lot to maintain it or even to fulfill that once you've made the Excel program. So third is merchandise. So I've kept this category vague, but I'm assuming it's some kind of apparel or small equipment item. It could also be BCAAs or pre-workout or something. So if my margin on whatever widget I'm selling was to be around $7 per unit, I would need to sell 300 of those units per month, or 3,600 items per year to reach $25,000 in annual revenue. Those numbers seem even more unachievable than the program sales figure, but whatever. And fourth and finally is YouTube. So to achieve $25,000 a month, assuming $3 per 1,000 views, I would need to get 700,000 views each and every month. To put that number into context, it is more than these YouTubers got in the last month. Alan Thrall, Vitruvian Physique, and Brian Allsrew. To achieve that level of YouTube revenue, I'd need to become at least as popular as Remington James, who I mentioned earlier, who has more than 450,000 subscribers and has posted more than 500 videos. And he's been doing it for a very long time. So, in a symbiotic way, getting those businesses ramped up would require me to be very popular on social media, including YouTube. In each potential revenue stream, I have quite a bit of work to do, and it would take a long time to get to the point with all the businesses where I would have enough income combined to do it as a job full time. Not to mention the fact that I don't have any experience. I've never coached a single person in how to lift weights or in strength training, but I like the idea of it. I bought many Excel-based training programs, and I am certainly a capable Excel jockey given my finance background. So selling other items would probably require me to get a much more impressive physique or personality to attract customers. So even though this YouTube channel is the one thing on the list that currently exists today, getting up to that 700,000 views per month is maybe the most far-fetched of all of these and the most unachievable of all of these items. So basically, the economics of YouTube aren't great, but the exposure potential is incredible, and it can be combined with other things to create a real business. And so that's it. I hope it was informative. The video ran a little bit long, but I do want to leave you with one final thing, and that is that if you have a business idea in the fitness world, I'm interested. I'm an interested party. I've got a business background. I've got access to potential financing, and so run it by me. Talk to me. I'd love to get involved. I just want to be engaged in more discussions about businesses involved in fitness. So let me know, and in the meantime, keep it on the DL.